get into it. Had to do a very soft clap. Do not want to wake up the baby. Now, a lot of people were asking, why haven't I put out anything about Trump's second assassination attempt? It's because if I did it right away, all I'd be able to say is what we all already know, is that somebody tried to get at Trump once again. AK-47 was found, and I would just have to say the story is developing, so I just wanted to be able to get a whole bunch of information. So right now what you're going to see is just a big old information dump. Let's get started, including an interview with the shooter himself, a shooter from 2022 where he was in Ukraine. It's just amazing. So, FBI actually declared this was an assassination attempt. They had to declare it for us. Luckily the FBI is there to straighten it all out for us. Some shots ring out at Trump at a golf course. I need someone to tell me what happened. Oh, that's exactly what I need. Pretty much this is what happened afterwards. They actually got a hold of this guy, his car, which is very different. Usually these guys pass away rather quickly. You know how that goes with crooks. But this is what happened. Somebody actually reposted this. They said, looks like an FBI vehicle to me. I would have to agree, but also it's just a black car. There's no hubcaps on it. We don't actually know anything past that, but this is when they actually stopped him. We'll move on. Let's play some Hannity here. He's going to go over it a little bit, and then I have a bunch more to show you guys. Let's go.
Anyway, so long story short is President Trump, they were on the fifth hole. They were about to go up to putt. And the way Steve Witkoff, now, just as a little bit of background, Arthel, I happened to go to breakfast with Steve Witkoff and another friend of mine this morning. And I was invited to play golf. They happen to be really good golfers. I don't have a lot of time to play golf, so I said thank you, but I'm not going to go out on the golf course and get killed out there. But long story short, so they were playing, they were on the fifth hole. And the way Steve described this, the way the president described it, they both had exactly the same story, which was that they heard pop, 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 pop. And Steve went into great specificity and great detail as to what happened right after. Within seconds, the Secret Service pounced on the president, covered him. You had snipers with tripods. They knew the direction where the shots had been fired, and they had eyes on the location where the shots had been fired. And long story short, they were I have confirmed with both the president and with Mr. Witkoff that the gun has been found. They identified it as an AK-47. And thanks to Secret Service drone video coverage, they were able to identify one individual involved in this shooting getting into a car after dropping the AK-47. And my understanding, according to both of them, is that that car has been identified, and I believe it's been surrounded. Whether or not that person has been apprehended or not, I don't know. This happened in a matter of seconds. A little more color, a little bit more details on this is that when they got on top of the president, immediately what is called a fast cart that I believe has steel reinforcement and protection was able to whisk the president away. And then the Secret Service immediately sprung into action. They had eyes on where the shooting had occurred. I saw the New York Post report that these were two people shooting at each other outside the course. I do know, and they did confirm that the shots were outside of the course, but certainly seemingly within range of the former president. So we don't have any details on any of that. They don't know that part. I only know the part of what they experienced while they were playing golf at Trump International in West Palm. Thankfully, the president is safe. Steve Witkoff is safe. The Secret Service apparently acted with incredible speed and professionalism, and but certainly alarming in every way imaginable in light of what happened in Butler, as you mentioned.
Yeah, of course, this is very alarming. And Sean, have you spoken to the former president or texted with him?
I have spoken with the president 3 times since this incident, and each time I got a new piece of information. One, that they had found, first of all, what happened with the shooting. The second thing, that they had found an AK-47. Third, right, that their drone footage was able to give them enough surveillance to identify the exact car that the individual involved in this shooting got into. And further detail that they gave me was that they were updated and told that that car had been found, identified, was surrounded by law enforcement. I don't know what happened from there. It could not have been too far away. I would say the time frame was less than a half hour between the time that the shooting actually took place and they identified the car. So
I'm trying
on all
to
fronts,
find out, like, how is he doing? That's what we want to know. How is he doing, if you spoke to him?
You know, well, you really want to know the truth, Arthel? He goes, well, there's more details, because I did hear, and Steve Witkoff was very clear. The first thing the president did when he got back to the clubhouse was make sure that everybody else was okay. He didn't see his golf partner with him. Where's Steve? Where's Steve? Where's Steve? And then Steve says, I'm right here. He got in maybe a few minutes behind the president. The Secret Service was able to get everybody to safety. Everybody else was taken off the golf course. Then when the president found out everybody was safe and nobody had been harmed, I guess in typical fight fashion, Trump said to Steve, and then he related to me, I really wanted to finish the hole. I was even, and I had a birdie putt, and it was on the fifth hole. Which shows a lot of, I think, guts and gumption, and very Trumpian, I guess, in every way. But, you know, the good news we can report is that in spite of this being in such close proximity to the president and others and the Secret Service, that they were not harmed and that they are in safety. And I know the investigation will go forward. Probably more details, I would imagine, as time unfolds.
Yeah, so see, this is the exact reason why I don't like to just jump on stories right away, because he's talking about two people shooting at each other within the vicinity. You know, meanwhile, the FBI has already declared this, as I showed you already. They already declared this an assassination attempt. And as we keep on going through this, you'll understand why they've declared it that as well. So, you know, good information from Hannity, but a little bit of, you know, just... You know, you work for Fox, you got to jump on the story. You have no choice. You have to get out there as soon as possible, getting paid millions of dollars. I understand completely, but just listen to this next clip. Actually, also, let me just, because I got a whole bunch of clips here to show you. So this is actually a tweet from him, which is why people are not going to be buying that type of story. I hope Fox has already corrected that. This is actually a tweet from the gentleman himself. It says here, oh man, that's too big. I want you guys to actually be able to read it. It says, while you were my choice in 2016, I and the world hoped that President Trump would be different and better than the candidate, but we all were greatly disappointed, and it seems you are getting worse and evolving. Are you our word? I will be glad when you're gone. This is a picture of him, two pictures of him, one where he's in DC, the other he's in Kiev, which... what's going on there? So I just wanted to show that really quick. That's a good reason why people aren't going to be buying that anymore. Let's move on to the CNN clip we have here quickly, and then I'll show you some more stuff.
In the area of the shooting, sources say they recovered a backpack and a semi-automatic rifle. It was described as an AK-47 in the preliminary reporting, and a GoPro camera. The last piece is very interesting because it suggests, if there was such a camera there, that this individual may have wanted to record himself in a first person doing the shooting. So a lot of questions to be answered. Is the suspect, they have the right person? Is that the right car? You know, the weapon that they have has to be processed for evidence and ballistics. If there's video on that camera, if in fact it was recovered as we are told, what will that tell them? But that is what we are seeing right now. In the area of the shooting, sources say they...
So, you know, CNN, this is a little bit down the line. So they figured out this actually was a assassination attempt. The fact that he had an AK-47. Let me tell you something. I get it. Second Amendment all day. But who's beefing with an AK-47? Who's beefing with an AK-47? Oh, hold on. I got something for you. AK-47 with the backpack with the GoPro. What was this guy, a vlogger? And then on top of that, he was like, oh, you got a problem? Pulls out an AK-47. Come on. Obviously, that's not. I'm so glad. I hope nobody's actually falling for that. Now, you won't be surprised but you will be a little infuriated of the Secret Service and their response to why there was not Secret Service all over the golf course to stop something like this from even happening. Listen to this.
For future reference, is there any obscurity of a golf course?
Well, you got to understand the golf course is surrounded by shrubbery. So when somebody gets into the shrubbery, they're pretty much out of sight. All right? And at this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. Well, because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible. So I would imagine that the next time he comes to the golf course, there'll probably be a little bit more people around the perimeter.
When he's president, don't worry, we'll cover him. We'll cover him. Oh, did something happen? Oh, I don't know. He's not the sitting president, you know. It's not like someone tried to assassinate him already, you know. Why would we beef up security? Very, very ignorant response, in my opinion, you know. Have your opinions there. I just want to, you know, I'm going to flip ahead again just to show you another, let me see if I can find this. Another reason why people aren't buying the whole thing of this being two people just kind of beefing, going back and forth. This is where they found, you know, I'm not sure who took this picture, whether it was the FBI, Secret Service, or what, but you can see backpack, gun, all of this. Now, what's behind this fence is the golf course. So this guy seems like he was trying to queue up a shot, possibly film it, like people were saying, and get President Trump. Let me just go back on here. Already showed you that. This is a gentleman who actually predicted this whole thing. You know, and who wouldn't have predicted this? Tucker Carlson has talked about something for sure happening again. Rogan's touched on it. So many people in the media space have touched on this, except for anyone in the actual mainstream media, because they wanted us to all forget about it like nothing happened. Listen to this.
Mr. Bongino, in your opinion, is the Secret Service in a better spot today with Director Rowe in charge?
No, it's worse. And sadly, I'm glad this is all being recorded, because when something else happens, and I hope it doesn't, I pray to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that I'm wrong. That you play this and go, look, that guy was crazy. You think this is the last incident, you're out of your mind. We have seen these incidents over and over. We saw the Georgia grenade incident with President Bush. They overtook the magnetometers. The Secret Service leadership in charge now with the exact same people. Exact same. Can you imagine a C-suite at a company that makes widgets? We find out that there's a design defect. The widget explodes and kills 10 people, and the CTO gets a promotion to CEO. You understand that's what happened here, correct? These are the same people. Kim Cheadle, the director, wasn't even fired. She was allowed to resign. She'll go get some cushy job somewhere, and her deputy, who is one of the guys behind these stupid waste of time things like agents wearing red ties on the detail. Because this actually happened, by the way. These people will tell you this on the road if you get the right people. He was concerned about the tie color of the agents on the detail because it seemed to imply he supported President Trump. Congressman Biggs wearing a red tie. You're wearing a semi-red tie. It has nothing to do with anything. This is the kind of stuff the Secret Service was actually wasting their time with while withholding CSU counter surveillance assets and counter sniper assets from probably the most threatened man on earth. If you can explain it, good luck, because that's not the agency I worked for.
Well,
Always sad to see somebody like this intense and to know that he's former Secret Service. Obviously, we all know that he's creating content now, podcasts, he's bringing truth and everything like that. But it'd be great to see someone like that actually, you know, taking care of Trump, you know, making sure that he's okay. Now, this here is the actual footage of them rolling up on this guy. So everything got locked down. You know, it's just a quick clip, just people seeing what's going on. Yeah, there is a whole lot to this. And the fact that this guy was in Kiev, I mean, we're like, I don't know. I want to talk about it more. Charlie Kirk reacted to this. 2 impeachments, 4 indictments, 2 assassination attempts, and President Trump is still standing. Yes, sir. My president is unkillable, ladies and gentlemen. Your president is unkillable, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually a weird interview. This is the gentleman who is suspected of being the shooter, attempted shooter. And right now, I think in this interview, he's in Kiev. Let me just read this quickly. Suspect in his name is Ryan Wesley Roth. In 2022, Newsweek Romania is candid about his pro-Ukraine views and his efforts to recruit foreign fighters to Ukraine. The previous assassin, Thomas Crooks, was featured in a BlackRock commercial, as we all remember. Let's check this out.
Tell me who you are and why are you here?
I'm 56, from the U.S., from North Carolina originally, so live in Hawaii now, so flew all the way from Hawaii here. So the question as far as why I'm here, to me, a lot of the other conflicts are gray, but this conflict is definitely black and white. This is about good versus evil. This is a storybook, any movie we've ever watched, this is definitely evil against good. I mean, we're battling a situation here where, the Ukrainians and the rest of the world are caring and kind and generous and unselfish and take care of one another. And it's just a matter of, we need to stand up for that. That is the most important thing in the world, is just to show human beings that we're kind and we're caring and that we take care of one another and that the world is united so that we feed each other and make sure that, we all move forward as one collective whole unit. So, we feel the pain of one country's failure and their conflicts, and we enjoy the successes of other countries that are doing good, and we all work together. And for some reason, Russia does not grasp this concept that we're all one unit, and we have to get along and work together and be normal human beings. This is 2022. We have to work together. It seems asinine that we have a leader in a country that does not understand the concept of being unselfish and being generous and being kind and just the basic moral values that are required by human beings these days. It blows my mind.
Quote from the man who tried to assassinate President Trump. Moral values and all that, of course. Of course, also the blue hair, you will note half of it is blue, the other half is white. Until you do something like this, you do not graduate until full blue. So he was trying to earn his stripes within the woke generation of people today. He is an older gentleman, so they probably, they made him go through some stuff. I'm going to be honest. I'm kidding there, of course, but I'm going to be honest. Tinfoil Speedo, I got it on all the time. The MK Ultra looks thick on this, buddy. Oh, he looks deep into something. Let me just say. I'm just saying. All right? YouTube, please don't ding me for this. I'm just saying the MK Ultra is seeping out of this guy's pores right now. That's just me. I see this guy, I'm like, oh, this guy got sat down. He got that treatment. You remember that? Clockwork Orange? He got one of those treatments. And they just played anti-Trump stuff all day. Played the national anthem backwards, stuff like that. Marjorie Taylor Greene reacts to it. And I'm making it funny, but I'm not kidding. That guy doesn't look right. You know what I mean? Dear Democrats and activists in the media, is 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump's life considered a threat to democracy yet? Honestly, I'm going to play this, but then let's just talk about something really quick, because are we really supposed to think that this is just 2 crazy people who just decided to do this? Is that really what we're supposed to think? Listen to this.
And what is now being investigated as a second attempted assassination of former President Trump has been identified. Authorities say his name is Ryan Wesley Roth. He allegedly poked his muzzle of his AK-47 style rifle through a chain link fence as he was hiding in the bushes of former President Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's when an agent saw it and opened fire. The Trump campaign releasing the statement just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. President Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity. No further details at this time. Those gunshots, we now know, were fired by that Secret Service agent. Ruth now in custody.
Sorry, so I actually just did that because I wanted to switch over to what he's talking about. So this is the chain link fence. This is where his gun was. This is where he was setting up, kind of using the chain link fence as a little bit of a holder so he wasn't jostling around too much. Wanted to get a shot off, maybe get a few shots off at the president. Secret Service took a shot at him. Somehow he was able to evade the Secret Service to the extent where he got into his car. Maybe it was just real nearby and he jumped in his car and drove off. I don't know. Secret Service, good job no matter what. I mean, you took a shot. You did a little better than you did last time. That's for sure. But, and you know what? I won't even suggest, that it would. I would think you would have took him out. But, the fact that they didn't maybe is good, because now you can actually talk to the guy. But what I was going to say was, are we really supposed to believe this? That it's just two crazy people? Like, I hope that's not the road that they're going to go down. I mean, I can already foresee the road that they're going to go down. 2 weeks from now, they're just going to be like, it doesn't matter. And Kamala Harris is Jesus. Just forget about what's happening to that presidential candidate, trying to bring unity and getting shot out at every few weeks or months. Forget about that. Just remember that Kamala Harris is Jesus. She's Jesus Obama, and that's who we should all be really reveling in right now. But again, we can't possibly think this is just two guys, two just random people got into his vicinity and got to take shots at the guy. And the clip that I showed you before where they were saying, well, he's not the sitting president, so they didn't have the whole place surrounded. But he is a presidential candidate who, if he gets assassinated, people are going to get angry. It's going to be a problem. So even just national security wise, wouldn't it be wise to have it surrounded? Even aside from that, someone already tried to kill him. That's another reason to have it surrounded. To sit there and just be like, oh, well, he's not the sitting president. But if something happened to him, it would be an issue. All these politicians who always try to get in front of us and act like they're holier than thou, they'd all be in bunkers. That'd be it, obviously. Anyway, I'll play this last thing because what I keep showing you here, this is actually a quote from Eric Prince. If you don't know Eric Prince, he's the founder of the private security Blackwater. He is calling on DeSantis to actually take control of this situation. He, quote, says, the feds have dropped the ball thoroughly on Butler, PA. Time for Florida to save the day. And I'd have to agree with this. That makes the most sense to me. If DeSantis can just decide, hey, we got it from here. I'm putting all my resources on this. I want to know exactly what happened, who this guy is, who he's connected to. I think that would be pretty great because Secret Service didn't give any answers, even when they were subpoenaed by Congress. Cheadle just said a bunch of stuff. Then Cheadle steps aside. Then some other guy steps in. He has nothing to say as well. Christopher Wray gets put in the situation. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. He gets put in front of Congress as well. He's questioning whether or not Trump even got shot. It would be great if Florida would step in. You hear a little bit of what Eric Price has to say about this whole thing. Here you go.
Since we know that the governor follows our accounts quite closely, can you please give a message to Governor DeSantis from your security expertise and perspective on this?
Governor DeSantis, love what you've done with the state of Florida. Now is the time to prove the Florida Bureau of Investigation's merit in cracking this crime and not brushing it under the rug like happened in Pennsylvania.
Yes, I believe that if at the very least, what this would provide is transparency that then all of us could agree on the terms. Because what we saw in Butler was Thomas Crooks, the FBI contacting Gab, saying that we have the account of Thomas Crooks. He's a far left winger who supports Joe Biden. You can see that through his posting. And the owner of Gab coming out and saying, here are all of his posts. This guy is a left wing Joe Biden supporter. The next day, the FBI comes in and testifies that he's actually a right winger. And I don't know if that obviously the intention there is to confuse or to cross the wires, but guess which narrative the corporate press run with?
Of course. Exactly. So again, the state government has a huge role in this. in preventing assassination and murder in their state, clearly the federal government cannot be trusted here. Sadly, yes. It's a time for Governor DeSantis to flex up and to see that this is done properly.
Yeah, that would be great to see, quite honestly. So I just wanted to bring you guys all of that because, again, I didn't just want to have one piece of information and, you know, just kind of get the views off of it. I wanted to bring you guys a whole bunch of information. That's a day's worth of information. There's going to be more as time goes on after they get some information out of that gentleman, which, honestly, I don't even know if that's going to happen, because if we're all thinking the same thing in terms of who was helping crooks, then this gentleman, Ryan, the second shooter, he might just be insulated by these people. You know, we're hearing that he's been captured. He might be insulated now. We might never hear anything from him. He might just be so depressed. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, who knows what's going to happen with this guy now? So, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's an interesting thing going on. You know, one thing I'm very excited for, and I'm praying and hoping for, is Trump gets in office and completely just focuses in on these 2 assassination attempts and really figures out what's going on. Because even if DeSantis gets involved, he can only do so much. You know, he can only do so much in terms of finding things out. If Trump gets in office, when Trump gets in office, let's put it like that, folks. When he gets in office, him focusing in on these 2 assassination attempts, I think it would uncover. I think it would uncover what we're all already thinking. Just straight up. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to bring that to you. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. I know this is a Rogan channel, but this is a big thing. I had to bring it to this channel. Other than that, I'm out.